Hi class, this is Jill Mack. I'm the instructor for the Community College of Vermont, and I am showing you how to showing you how to use Google Calendar, and then how to embed a calendar into your website, both the Google website and a HTML website. So here I am at the Google page. I'm logged in because it says Jill up here, and it has my picture. But I'm going to go to Calendar, so I'm going to click the little Rubik's Cube, and if you use Calendar a lot, it's probably going to be on your shortcut menu. If it isn't, go to More and Even More. So I'm going to open up Calendar. Now I use Calendar a lot. It's on my web page, and I have my Jill Mack's calendar, and I have my holidays calendar, and those are probably the ones that I use the most. If you want more information about Calendar, I highly recommend that you go out to YouTube and Google on Google Calendars, or search on Google Calendars, and look for a current. Make sure that when you're doing a search and you're going out and doing a search and you're out here and maybe you go to YouTube, so I'm going to go out to YouTube and I'm going to look for Google Calendar tutorials. Oops, if I can spell it right. And they do have 2016, so you want to find the very current calendars because Google changes how they do things. Here's one 4 months ago that has quite a few reviews, and I haven't seen his. But you want something that has a lot of reviews and something that is current. And because there's so many, you get to choose who your teacher is. So if you want to know more about Calendar, that's one way to do it. This is what my calendar looks like. It's my real life calendar. And so I want to embed this calendar into a Google website. So I'm going to go to my Google website. And the one I'm using is, let's just go out to Google. And I can go into sites, or I can just go to my website, jillmack.com, go into workshops and classes, and usually I go down to students where you can look at each other's work, and the Google site that I'm using will be right on top. So I'm going to go out. Here's a calendar page that I created before. And I'm going to edit it again. This is what it looks like after it's inserted. So you actually have this page come up. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to delete this page or create a new page. I'll call it Calendar 2, I guess. Oops. Didn't mean to do that. Didn't mean to go back there. Oh, here it is. Calendar 2. Now, when you're doing this, you have to tell it where you want it to put it. So I could put it so that it was underneath my first calendar, or I could put it at the top level, or I could choose a different location. Right now it defaults to top level, so I'm just going to create this Calendar 2 web page, and this is in Google Sites. So when you look at it, it's going to, it puts it in alphabetical order if you haven't put it underneath something. And here's my Calendar 2. So I'm editing this page. I'm going to say Insert, and I'm going to go over to Calendar. These are all the different Google common things, gadgets, and all the Google Maps, YouTubes, Hangouts. And I'm just going to select Calendar. And what it's going to do is it's going to pull up the calendars that I have. Okay, and so we have my Jill Mack one. And so that's right there. So I'm going to select that. I could also put in a web address. And I'm just going to leave it like that. I'm going to show the week, month, the calendar name, navigation buttons, all of that. And I'm going to click Save. So now I've inserted this calendar. And that's great, but it doesn't have any of the holidays. When you look at it, this particular month, it doesn't have St. Patrick's Day, it doesn't have Easter Sunday, it doesn't have those kinds of things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and edit this page again because I want to add my holidays calendar to this calendar, and I can click in this. And then once I click it, I'm looking for the little menu that pops up, and I want the gear, the properties. I can left justify it, center it, right justify it, wrap it, or delete it. But I want to go into the properties of it, and what I want to do is, oops, let's get rid of that highlighting. I want to display another calendar because you can display multiple calendars. And this time I'm going to pick out Holidays of the United States. So I'm going to combine that, and I'm going to click Select. And here I don't want it to overwrite, so I'm just going to say Jill Max Real Life. And now it shows me that I have my Jill Max Systems and Designs, I have my holidays, and I can combine multiple calendars if you want to see, if you're trying to coordinate all the people in your company, you can add each person's calendar. And now I'm going to save it. So now when I look at this Google Calendar, I am going to see Easter Sunday as well as Jill Max calendar. So that's how I combine those calendars into one. And you can have calendars for yourself, you can have calendars for equipment, or maybe you share a car or share some different resources, and you can create a calendar for those resources. You can combine calendars on Google Sites, and just makes life really, really easy. From here, you can go and look at the week instead of the month to see how your week is going, or you can just look at agenda because you have allowed all of those things to happen. All right, so that's how we embed calendar. But let's go out to STWeb, the student web server, and let's look at our class. And this particular time it's 1151 VS, and I want to look in MySpace, and I want to look at, oh, I haven't FTP'd it up. Okay, so let's look at the online. Oops, go back. And go back one more. VO. Jam. Assignment 10. And here's the calendar HTML. Okay. So here I have put my calendar into an HTML file. Let's go and look and see how we did this by going out to the Google Developer Tools. And let's look at this code. Now, is it easier to do it here? I think it's easier to do it here because it's embedded in an iframe, okay? And I have this iframe, and in the iframe, can I edit it? Yep, edit as HTML. I have my iframe that goes out to my particular calendar. It has a style associated with it. It has a width, which you can modify. It has a height. I put in a frame border, and scrolling is no. And then I close the iframe. And that's all I have on this, in this HTML. I have my header, but that's it. So let's close this Developer Tools, and let's just right-click it and view the page source so we can Look at it, but that's all there is to this HTML page. And basically, between your body tags, you have this iframe. Okay, so where do we get the iframe? If we go back to calendar, not that calendar, but if we go back to, I'll just open a new tab, and we'll go out to Google, and we'll go out to calendar. Here I am in my Google Calendar, and when I look at this, as I scroll over it, I can click the down arrow on this calendar. And I can display only this calendar, or calendar settings, or create or share the calendar. So if I want to share the calendar, here, let me make this page bigger so we can look at it. You know, just like with Google, YouTube, you have the ability to embed. So I can get the calendar details, or I'm on the share. Now you can choose to share all of the things or share only my busy free time if you were doing a scheduling kind of calendar. This tells you who can update it, and what I want to do is I want to share the calendar, make this calendar public. In order for people to see it, you have to make the calendar public. If the calendar isn't public, you can't. And then these are the people that you're sharing it with. And I'm looking for the embed. Where's the embed code? Save, learn more, notifications. Usually there's an embed code. And where have they put it this time? Usually they will give you, let's look at calendar details. I'll go to calendar details, see if it's in there. Calendar details is where the embed is, where it's embed this calendar. And this is where you can embed the iframe information. And you can block copy that and paste it into your HTML. Now remember, that's only kind of a default kind of settings. If you want to change the iframe settings, go into the DOM, find out what you can change, like width, height, frame border, scrolling, all of that, and have a good time with it. So that's how you embed to your Google web page, as well as to your HTML files. You know, here it is out on ST Web in just HTML, and have a good time. Thank you so much.